future belongs to service providers who innovate without limits. That's why the fastest growing service providers are choosing the NetSapiens platform. Visit netsapiens.com.
Hey everybody, it's Doug Green and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News, and I'm very pleased to have with me today Anoop Dawar, Chief Strategy Officer at Deepgram. Anoop, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks, Doug. It's a pleasure to be here.
So Deepgram is a real-time AI infrastructure company underpinning the voice AI economy. So we actually get to talk about AI and voice, which is sort of a treat because we often don't. We often talk about other things. We're also going to be talking about infrastructure. That seems to be back in fashion. So Anoop, tell me a little bit more about Deepgram.
Yeah, so Deepgram started with deep roots in research, and it's a foundational machine learning and end-to-end deep learning. And the Deepgram founders decided to apply this end-to-end deep learning thing that we all now know and love to voice, and to sort of solve one of the hardest problems on the planet, which is to understand 700 languages, 2,000 dialects, accents, intonations, vocabulary changes, just so that we can understand humans. And the idea is, if we can have technology or machines understand humans, we will be in a very different world compared to the last 70 years of technology, where we all learned to speak machine, right? I am an engineer by training. I learned, first of all, how to type right on a keyboard, which we take for granted. But if you think about it, A, S, D, F, G, H, J, K, L, what's going on with these things? And then I had to learn programming languages, which were fun, but from assembly to C to C++ to Java to now Python and so on and so forth. We learned to talk machine. It's about time machines learn to talk to us.
We learned to talk machine. That's really almost, when you say that, a 50-year journey. I think the digitization of commerce basically began literally about 50 years ago. And you're making me think every decade, every year, it's usually been whatever company saying, we have a tutorial, we have a university, we have a session, we have onboard training. We've had to learn basically to speak machine.
Yeah. And it went from typing to text to swapping, zooming, panning, mouse moving, right? We did all of these things just so we can communicate with machines. Wouldn't it be nice if they would understand us too?
So here comes Deepgram, and that's what you guys do?
Yeah, so we started with the roots of understanding, and then what happened is a couple of innovations happened along the way. We did really good at speech understanding, real-time speech understanding. Large language models started understanding text very well. And then, of course, many vendors came out with text-to-speech, i.e. taking text and converting it into, very rich human speak, not the sort of monotone speak that we hear on phones, but real rich speak in real time. When you connect all these three together, voila, you can have autonomous AI voice agents. And so that's where we are now, where we are powering a lot of voice agents. Almost all serious, real production voice agents that are in the market right now are being powered with Deepgram.
Now, you guys have quite an ecosystem. We're told here in my briefing notes, at least says 200,000 developers, 1,400 organizations.
Yeah, I think that number 200,000 is probably old, and I need to work with our marketing to fix that. But yes, I think our mission is to empower the new AI voice ecosystem. And in order to do that, we took a developer and agent first approach to helping everybody who wants to have partake in this voice AI journey. And it starts with contact centers, CPaaS, and other infrastructure and customer support providers, but also new use cases. Most of us use some sort of note taker today. Many customer and worker productivity systems have AI agent assistants, where you can fire off a command and the system will work in the background and tell you when it's done or even help you real time. In order to do that, you start with developers first, and that's why the developer uh, footprint is pretty huge. And we take pride in all the developers that take Deepgram and build amazing things with it.
So, how is this approach different from everyone else? And I'm noting that to begin with, it seems like you have a voice first approach.
Well, indeed, yeah. Our approach is to say that, hey, two things. It's very easy to take these tools and build a prototype or a demo. It's really hard to get them into production. And so our approach is voice first and enterprise first, which means all the things, all the boring things that come with infrastructure: reliability, scalability, cost effectiveness, resilience, the ability to have the infrastructure in a private or secure place of your choice, and so on and so forth. And to do that with AI is a difficult problem, and very few people sort of focus on doing that. Um, and so we focus on those things so that customers can build production grade voice systems.
So, when you talk about, I think you've made comments about it's easy to do the AI demo, but it's not so easy to achieve the reliability.
Yeah. So there are two or three aspects to this, Doug. First is real time voice is unforgiving. There is no do over,
Right.
right? If I hallucinate and say your name incorrectly, instead of Doug Green, I say something else, I say Mark Green. Well, that thing is now out in the ether. I can't go back and erase it and rewrite to Doug Green. It's out. Everybody knows. So you have to be able to have robust systems that do these things properly. Second, you can do a good demo where you show a phone call of an order taking uh, thing in a restaurant, for example. Okay, now you start to put it in a real drive-through. And in a real drive-through, that drive-through may be next to a freeway, and then there may be an 18-wheeler driving down that freeway, and a truck is coming into your drive-through in the legacy sort of microphone. And now it's a very demanding acoustic environment. It's not you and me sitting in an office in a what I consider a nice voice, friendly voice environment. It's a very adversarial voice environment. And you have to understand the human that's giving the order while maybe the kids are screaming in the back or playing a music in the back. Now that environment is very different. So a prototype in the office that shows the demo works for drive-through versus making it working in drive-through in real environment is a whole different ball of wax.
Now, you've also talked about AI drift. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, well, so the interesting thing is that brings to the third part of why it's hard to bring these things into production. Me as an engineer, although my engineering license to code in production has long been suspended, I still code for a long. I coded for a decade, and I still write code. Um, we used to write deterministic code, and we used to rely on systems that have deterministic guarantees. So what do I mean by that? If I'm going to write something into a transactional database, I know that the transactional database is asset compliant. And I know when I write it and it returns success, then it's done. It's written, right? Money from my account got shifted to your account or vice versa. And we both know that it's exactly what is happening. It's not like Anoop approximately spent $10 on Starbucks latte. No, either Anoop spent $10 or he didn't spend $10. That's not this world. We are in a probabilistic world. We are working with systems that are not asset compliant databases. We are working with language models that will give you a different answer. How are you going to deal with it? Just because it worked in your test doesn't mean it's going to work in production. And let's say it did work in production, and then you made a few changes, or the customer starts asking a different thing, or the menu changes, you will all of a sudden have drift. Your success rates will go down. And that's what I mean by, like, these systems will drift because the world evolves. Language models are stuck. They don't do constant online work. and you have to be able to deal with them if you're going to have production grade systems.
So Anoop, you seem to be attacking back to the same thought, which is it's easy to do this in a sterile lab, nice and quiet like we are right now. And you could show me a little demo and it would work beautifully. But that's never the real world.
Yeah, and then that's why you need to find the people who are trying to help you work it in the real world. And what I've seen is people who have embraced the fact that this is a probabilistic environment, not a deterministic environment, who have embraced the fact that we are going to lean in on the production aspects, and we're going to test rigorously on the production aspects. Those are the people that are having more success versus the people who are still, catching up to the fact that the underlying substrate on which we write software programs has fundamentally changed.
Anoop, I think you're almost the only person that's used the words infrastructure for voice AI economy all in the same sentence almost. So what are you guys working on? What does this approach mean to an MSP or channel partner?
Yeah, so it's voice is considered an app, right? It was
Right.
and for a while, and Siri sort of disappointed everybody because it overpromised and under-delivered for over a decade, and it was considered an app on top of your existing phone, for example. But what we have found is it's a whole infrastructure. It starts from where the voice is generated, which could be from your microphone, or it could be from the drive-thru, or it could be somewhere else on a phone line, which is basically immediately downsampling your voice to 8 kilohertz, so it can send it over these networks. These networks are all infrastructure. You take voice onto a internet, well, that's a whole different ballgame, because now you have to deal with jitter, packet loss.
Yep.
And when you're dealing with those sorts of things, and you want to have a real-time conversation, it's again very unforgiving. You'll see the glitches. It's different than streaming Netflix or YouTube, because it's one way. Netflix or YouTube is going one way, and it's pre-recorded. Real time is bidirectional, full duplex, and happening as we speak. And so it's extremely demanding. And so you need the network infrastructure, you need the data center infrastructure, you need the voice infrastructure, and you need the AI models to understand all of the nuances of all of these things so they can be resilient to all of the perturbations that are going to happen through all of this infrastructure, while still understanding humans and being able to respond to them.
So looking ahead, where do you think the next phase of the AI agent race will end up or be won?
Yeah, well, so that's a very big question, Doug. And really, I don't know I can quantificate and predict the exact future. But what I can tell you is, and I did write a blog about this last year, which is that we are going to be in a world of 24/7 agents fairly soon, and multiple agents. So all of us are going to have little minions, if you will, running around doing things for us. The hard part is, just like Groove, we have to keep the minions on the task and not get distracted and hallucinate and do other things. And it's going to be a fascinating world. Voice has a huge role to play in it, but so do other modalities like text, like image, like video. And each one requires, dedicated sort of sophistication and attention to make it a success.
As we wrap up, I'll put up that banner that we put together just before our podcast. Voice is its own modality. I think that's a very notable thing. You want to just make a little comment about that, because I think it speaks a lot about you guys at Deepgram.
Yeah. If you would talk to somebody who's, let's say, read the Transformers paper or something like that, and you ask them about voice, it's very easy for them to think about, like, okay, language models have transformers, that's great, and all you need to do is put voice into the same system, and voila, and you've got voice integrated into the same system. The reality is that's not exactly the case. Yes, you do need the LLM pieces, but you also need voice pieces. What do I mean by that? Let me give you two examples to drive the point home. If I say the word hello to you, in when you when you take it into the LLM word, it's just the 5 letters, Hello, right? But is hello just hello, or is there a delightful hello, a sad hello, a sarcastic hello, an angry hello? Like, the hello that from Seinfeld, when Seinfeld says hello Newman, that's a different kind of hello. All of that nuance and information is getting lost, and that's what I mean by voice being a different modality. And then I'm harking back to like 2,700 languages, 2,000 dialects, new words like skibidi, which my teenager used, and I have no idea what it meant, but it needs to be transcribed into skibiddi, and it has a meaning apparently for them, not for me. It is a new modality. It needs its own attention and infrastructure so that people can have successful production grade voice agents.
Well, Anoop, I really want to thank you for joining me today. This has been interesting. It's a really huge conversation. I wish we had more time, but I think the big takeaway is you're a company that's training the machines to talk to us, and that's a big step forward.
Absolutely. We're having a lot of fun, and we'd love for others to join us.
Where can we learn more?
Yeah, you can go to deepgram.com. If you want to join us as a colleague, go to deepgram.com/careers, or if you go to deepgram.com, you can play with our playground and contact us.
All right, Anoop, I'm looking forward to our next podcast, but for now, thank you very much indeed.
Take care, Doug. Thank you very much.
Innovate without limits, scale without compromise, and never pay per seat again. Discover why providers choose netsapiens.com.